How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So the stock market didn't do so well today, guys. S&P 500 went down 0.3%. The Dow Jones down 0.4%. The Nasdaq 100 down 0.1%. And the Russell 2000 went down 0.4% on the day. And today, we're going to be talking more about the stock market, breaking down some technicals, going over a bunch of stocks to buy now. And I also want to share with you guys what I did in the stock market today, stocks I own right now, and in general, where my head is at as a trader and as an investor. So if you guys find value, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to claim 4 free stocks from WeBull, link down below, which does run out here in the next couple of days. So make sure to deposit $100, and you get 4 stocks valued up to $1,600. So let's talk, guys, what ended up happening today. Well, we got a sell-off across the board. S&P 500 was down, Russell 2000 was down, Dow Jones was down, and the Nasdaq 100 and the composite, both of them were down today. So what we see is we got a sell-off in the beginning of the day. And notice how in the end of the day, we got a massive rally, which honestly is very good for the bulls, and I'll explain why in a second. So you can see here the S&P 500, did we hit an all-time high today? We did. Wow. We hit an all-time high today. I didn't even know that till now. All-time high was hit at 3726.7, literally about 1 point higher from yesterday's all-time high, but an all-time high nonetheless. And we ended up downtrending for the rest of the day. And notice where we popped. We actually popped right at a higher low. I mean, you can see it here. Based on this trend line, we popped right where the uptrend was supposed to continue pretty much. If we were to extend this out yesterday, you guys can see based on these 2 data points here, 36.33 and about 36.45, the 2 higher lows. If we extended it out, it would have been right here where we ended up touching today. And we ended up hitting 36, 85, 87 for another higher low. And then we saw that massive push into the close, which again, if we pull back here to the 20-day chart, you can see how that's pretty good for the bulls, right? We held the higher low and we rallied up into this wedge. And now's the kicker, guys. What are we going to do here? This is very important. We're at a big resistance from back on the 9th of December, that all-time high at about 37.12. We closed right under that. So I think next week, Monday, Tuesday, we'll see what goes down. But I think if we squeeze out of 37.12, we're going to be gunning for all-time highs, which at this point, they're only about 0.3, 0.4% away. So watch out for the squeeze out of this wedge here on the 5-day, 5-minute, and on the hourly chart. You can see it on both of those time frames for the S&P 500. And when it comes to SPY, which is an ETF that tracks the S&P, what you guys notice is we're trapped under a resistance right under 370, which was a resistance back on the 8th, 9th of December, a couple trading days ago as well, and literally pre-market today. So I think if SPY breaks out of 369, 370 into the 371, that's going to be putting it in breakout territory. But at this point, it's in a pickle. This is an interesting spot, I'll be honest. And we have to see what happens Sunday night with the futures market, where the futures are trading, any news over the weekend. Of course, if anything crazy comes out, we'll see how that affects the futures market and the market on Monday morning, large caps as well. And at this point, yeah, I mean, we got a sell-off, but bulls gained control in the last couple of minutes in the market. And really, it's looking like a V-shaped recovery in today's session, at least, if we're looking at it on a 5-day, 5-minute chart. So we'll see if that bullish momentum continues. And when it comes to the Dow Jones, we can see the same thing, kind of a V-shape, W-shape, whatever you want to call it here on the 5-day, 5-minute, based on the price action we saw in today's session, and we're under a big resistance, right under 30,200. That was a resistance back on the 15th of this month, the 16th of this month, a little bit on the 14th of this month as well. So it's very pivotal for the Dow to break 30,200. If it does, you know, that is where we could be getting that leg up to the next all-time high, which honestly, we hit all-time highs today at 30,345. So I think if we break out of 3,200, we're going to be going straight back to those all-time highs and probably to a new fresh all-time high. And the Nasdaq 100, not much of a difference. I mean, the only difference here is we actually hit an all-time high today. We pulled down and we held an old resistance as a new support, 12,650. I guess it's not really a difference, but it's a good thing. Let's just put it that way. It's a good thing here that the Nasdaq was able, the bulls were able to hold 12,600. They held it as support, and you can see here on the intraday chart, they rallied right off of that into the close. That's very strong. And the Russell 2000 also hit an all-time high. Well, the Russell 2000 hit 2,000 before 2020 ends. Hey, I think next week we have a shot. But overall, I've been saying on the channel, I'll say it again, Russell 2000 needs a bit of a pull down. I would like to see it more in the 1700s, which is quite the pull down. That would be about a 12-15% correction. We'll see how that goes down, but that's just my honest opinion. So let me know your thoughts down below. What are your thoughts on the market? What are you guys doing? Are you in cash? Are you buying? Are you selling? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, what did I personally do today? Well, I've been in positions. You guys know that. You know, Apple, Workhorse, SLV, SBE, which we'll get into here in a second. And I've been eyeing up NNDM like a hawk, and specifically today. And honestly, we'll go over this right now. I saw a lot of bullish price action yesterday, and we covered that in yesterday's video. We saw how NNDM was downtrending. You can see it here on the hourly chart. It was downtrending from the beginning of this month, literally from $8 down to about $6.20 in the middle of this month a couple days ago. Yesterday, the day before, is where we bottomed out. And we saw a massive short squeeze in yesterday's session. Take a look, 5-day, 5-minute, multiple short squeezes. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, NNDM went from about $6.15 to over $7 in yesterday's session. So that told me, okay, we're getting out of this downtrend on the hourly chart where we're starting to gain some bullish momentum. And it's about time, because we were downtrending for a good amount of time there, almost half of the month. It was half the month. So this put my eyes back on NNDM yesterday when we got that massive push. And when we saw the next push today at earlier in the day, you guys can see it here, midday here, we got another big push from 670 to about 730, and that's kind of where I caught the move. I didn't catch it all the way from 630 over $7. I mean, that would have been fantastic, but I actually caught it here, and I was talking to you guys about NNDM even in the chat earlier in the day. And again, make sure to join the Discord chat down below. It's free. I mean, we were talking about how NNDM looks like it wants to rip, and I was right. And not to toot my own horn, but we called it out. And I personally got in on this dip right here. I missed the big move up, but I got in as it double bottomed and broke out here at about $7, $7.05. I actually had a position at $7.09, and I got out at $7.20. So this was a very quick in and out type of day trade, a little bit under 1.7% profit there. And the better entry would have been earlier on in the day at about 670, 680. I mean, that would have been a better entry. Now looking back, you know, with hindsight, looking back on the trade, but I'm happy with the profits regardless. That's what I did there with NNDM, and I think there's still more potential. I mean, it's up after hours here. You all can see that, to 719. And I'm still in SBE. I know a lot of you guys were in SBE. You locked in profits today. I personally didn't. I mean, I nibbled a tiny position yesterday, and yeah, I mean, I could have locked in the quick little profit here as it ran up to 37. I mean, I was watching it. I could have locked it. And even in the mid 36s, I could have locked it there as well. But I feel like this is one that has more upside. I don't want to cut it loose, and I didn't really build it out yet either. So I didn't sell out because, yeah, I think there's more potential, to say the least. And I'm in at about $35.80, so I could have made a nice profit at about $37. But again, I think we're going over 40 on this thing, and I could be wrong. I could lose money. It's happened before. I mean, you guys know that. But if I'm right, I'm going to end up making a lot more money if I'm just patient with it, right? And with this one, I'm willing to be a bit patient, as I think, again, it's going over 40, maybe to about $41, $42. So I'm in SB still. Apple, I'm still in this one at about $112. We ended up trimming it. I ended up trimming it a couple days ago at 127.30, locked in about 30% profits, letting the rest ride. Workhorse, I'm still in this at about $22, nothing much here. And SLV is another one that I'm still in, which I'm in at about $23, and we're up on this position now. And this is just a silver ETF that gives me exposure to the good old precious metal, which is silver. So that's what I'm doing right now, guys. And by the way, I have a good amount of cash because I think right now, especially heading into 2021, we'll see what happens. We have stimulus coming. We might see a pull down. Who knows? I want to have a decent amount of cash. Usually I like having, 20%, 25% or any around there. And at this point, it's right around there, about maybe even more, like 30% in cash. So I'm holding some cash as well. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What are you guys doing? Are you all cash? I know some of you guys are 100% or 90% cash. Or are you more on that 10, 15, 20%, 30% scale like me? Let me know in the comments, and if you guys are enjoying the video, hit the like button, and you might as well get those 4 free stocks from WeBull if you haven't done so already. And let's talk about now a bunch of other stocks that I'm looking to buy, that I'm keeping my eyes out on for some long plays, and one for maybe even a short play here. So number one is JMI. And before actually we get into JMIA, let's talk about FedEx, because FedEx reported earnings yesterday. I didn't cover it because I filmed my video a bit earlier in the day, but FedEx had EPS of $4.83 versus $4.01 estimated, and revenue came in at $20.6 billion versus $19.46 billion estimated. So a double beat there on FedEx, and yet the stock is selling off. We got a price increase from one of these banks. I think it was Goldman Sachs. Let me double check that. Yeah, Goldman Sachs lifts price target for FedEx from 345 to 356. They maintain the buy rating, and we had a price cut too, I believe. If we take a look here, I believe it might have been from JP Morgan. They cut it from about 350 or 356 to 350. So overall, I mean, the analysts still seem a bit bullish. They beat EPS and revenue, and yet the stock is going down. It's like that sometimes, right? If a stock's been going up a lot, they don't have amazing earnings, it's not going to keep going up. At some point, it's going to have a bit of a pull down, and that's what we're seeing right now. I mean, I wouldn't say this is a bad earnings report, but the stock has just been so hot, and what I'm seeing here on the 20-day chart, believe it or not, is a beautiful head and shoulder forming. So we could end up be going, it's not even a sentence, we could be going a bit lower here, maybe. Let me show you. I mean, take a look. You can see the left shoulder here, head right here. Take a look if this thing wants to work. There we go. And then we have the right shoulder there, and the dump off under that uptrending channel on the 4-hour chart, and the 150 or 180 SMA on this 4-hour chart. So I'm thinking FedEx could go a decent amount lower, but it would honestly be a buy in my eyes if it starts, getting close to 260. That could be a buy area, so I'm watching this. I'm not looking to short FedEx by any stretch of the imagination, but at this point, since it did break those technical areas and we're seeing that head and shoulder playing out, we might be going lower, and it does seem like a falling knife. So maybe 260, 265. That could be a place to buy some shares. And JMIA, this is one that I forget. I was talking to somebody earlier today, whether it was in the Discord chat, on Instagram DMs. I don't even remember. On Twitter, I get a decent amount of DMs now. I mean, I'm not one of these massive YouTubers or anything like that, guys, but I do get a decent amount of DMs from a lot of people, about 20, 30 DMs, maybe sometimes 25 DMs per day, and we're talking back and forth about stocks, and JMIA was one of them, and I told that person, and again, I forget who I told, but we were talking about this channel that JMIA was in, and earlier in the day, look where it was, right around 38, 39 bucks, right around this 50 SMA on the bottom of this channel. And I was saying, watch for that pop into the mid 40s, low 40s. And what do you know? I called a move out, and I didn't get into it. You gotta love it, guys. This is one of those where I called it out and did not take the trade myself. But if somebody did take this trade today, shout out to you. Hope you made some money. And at this point, I think JMIA might have some more juice left in the tank. Maybe we make another leg up to about $45. We close in the mid-42s today. Maybe we break up to 45, test that resistance of the channel again. If we break out of there, we could be going up even higher. But as we get higher, we all know it's going to be a bit overextended, overbought on the RSI, so we have to be careful. But overall, I think there is some juice left. We'll see what happens here with JMIA. And Boeing is ticker symbol BA. This is one that we called out pretty well a couple weeks ago, or a couple days ago, whenever it was, as it had a spectacular rally to about 240. And I said to you guys, be careful. 240 is the high from back in June. If we don't break that, we'll probably see a sell-off. And we're seeing a sell-off. Now we're actually getting closer and closer to that 180 SMA here on the 4-hour chart, which honestly, if it gets there, guys, which based on this 20-day chart, the fact that we haven't broken out of the downtrend leads me to believe that we're likely heading to the low 200s. If we get to 200, we might be able to get a decent entry point here on Boeing. I mean, this is one of those companies that the industry is struggling hardcore, but you have to realize they're going to get bail money. They have bail money on deck. The government is not going to let Boeing out of business. And is that a reason to get into a company? At the end of the day, no, it's not one of the best reasons to get into a company. The fact that the government's backing them up. In fact, I mean, I wouldn't even get into Boeing as a long-term investment here. It's not my style. Neither are the airlines. Yeah, the airlines, you can be like, I'm going to get into these just because the government's backing them up. But you have to realize that's not the best investment thesis. You want to get into a company because the company's fundamentally sound. It's going to be good in the next coming years. There's going to be profits, revenue growth, etc. Not because the government's backing up the business, but I guess it's a good thing in general that you can sleep at night if you're going to trade Boeing, knowing that they're not going to go bankrupt. But then again, we're out of the pits of the crisis. I mean, with the V-shot coming now, these companies should be fine. But a couple months ago, I know a lot of people were thinking, oh, some of these airlines are likely to go bankrupt. Boeing might go bankrupt. And yeah, maybe one of them do go bankrupt, airlines, but I think for the most part, they're fine at this point. But anyway, rant over. Boeing, I think anywhere from 200, 205 could be an entry point. Heck, maybe even here if it holds 215, we could rip up higher. It's worth watching there in the short term. Tesla has the S&P 500 inclusion here on Monday, and it's up 6% today, up $40 per share, up to almost $700 per share. And at this point, I mean, I've been saying I'm not chasing Tesla for the past couple of weeks, and it's just been going higher and higher and higher, and I haven't made money on Tesla at least. So I guess I was wrong. And I'm going to say it again, I'm not chasing Tesla here because I think after the S&P 500 inclusion, there might be a bit of a sell-off. I could be wrong. We might spike up to 800. Who knows? But I think there might be a sell-off. I think it's a healthy point for it to sell off. If it hits 700, a retracement of 550 would be nice. I'm not sure if we'd get it, but a retracement close to this 180 SMA 4-hour chart, I wouldn't mind that. So I'm watching that for Tesla. NIO at this point in time, guys, is doing pretty decent. I mean, we saw a ridiculous move at the close of the market. It went up to $48 in the snap of a finger. Now it's sold off back to where it closed, and we're hovering right around 46.80 right now. And NIO is one that, I mean, a lot of you guys, I know you're picking it up. The trend is reversing, and you may be asking yourself, why aren't you buying NIO, Stas? You're talking about it all the time. And the truth is, I already have 2 long-term positions in NIO, guys. So when it comes to stocks, I mean, it's different for certain stocks. Some stocks that I already have long-term positions in, yeah, I swing trade them sometimes, but I'm a bit, I don't want to say more picky with them, but it's just a weird situation. I'm not forcing myself to get into NIO because I already know, okay, I already have long-term positions, so if it goes up, I'm already going to be making money in my long-term accounts, right? So it's something like that. It's more psychological. I mean, yeah, I could get into NEO here. I think it's on a decent breakout, and I think it's going to be going higher, maybe above $48, but I'd rather spread my money out. This is another reason. Maybe I'd rather spread my money out to other stocks that I don't have long-term positions in, to just be a bit more diversified, if that makes any sense. Because if I already have two big positions in NEO and I'm swing trading NEO and then NEO goes sour, I'm not in the best spot, if that makes any sense. And I mean, I have it in my Roth IRA. I have it in one of my other long-term accounts that I've been buying for the past year and a half. I mean, you guys know, if you've been on the channel, I've been buying NEO. I know it's crazy to the new viewers, but I've been buying NEO from $3, $5, $7, and in my Roth IRA, I have it at about $15, maybe $13. So I have a good position in NEO, and I don't want to over-diversify, if that makes any sense, but I'm still willing to trade the momentum, and we'll see. I think if 48 can break, we might get a move up to the mid-50s, $52, $53, $54. We'll see what happens there. I mean, MasterCard's another one, MA, that I think has potential to break out. We're approaching a resistance here on this overall wedge on the 4-hour chart, so watch out for maybe a pop into the mid-300s, 350. That's very possible. Intel is another one that we called the short position out. I didn't take a short position on Intel here, but we can see it completely dumped at this resistance at $51. And I believe we talked about Intel in yesterday's video. If you guys remember, we covered Intel and we said it might get rejected here and fall down. It could be a short play. And today it was down 6%. So at this point, I think there's even more downside. I think Intel could get low 40s, mid-40s, maybe around $45, $43. We'll see. So keep an eye there on Intel for a potential short play. And once it gets down to maybe $40, we could ride it back up and go long on it, as long as it's trading within this channel. And Walmart's another one, WMT and Target. These are both very similar patterns here. Walmart's down about $12 from its high, down about 7%. It's holding the uptrend, it seems like, here on the 4-hour chart. I'm just waiting for it to pop out of this wedge. You guys can see here on the 20-day chart as well, it's still making lower lows, lower highs, still in the downtrend. So I'd like to see it break probably 148, 149, and from there we could see a move back up to the mid-high 150. So watch out for Walmart. Target is another one, very similar, guys. These trade very in line, and you'll notice that with the tech stocks, with consumer staples, your healthcare. A lot of these trade similarly, the electric vehicle stocks, and Target's the same. I mean, it's sold off about 6-7% from its peak at 182. We're holding the uptrend here on the 180 SMA 4-hour chart, but if we zoom in on the hourly chart, we're still downtrending, and we need to break out of this to confirm the confirmation of the uptrend. So probably 174, 175 is where I'd consider Target as a buy, and maybe we break out a bit higher from there. And Virgin Galactic, I've been getting a bunch of questions on this one. SPCE, the test flight, it aborted, and we talked about how if that happened, we're likely to see a multi-day sell-off, and that's exactly what we got, and we're still in that sell-off, down about 7% today, and we're in this channel between 2260 support, we held that earlier, and resistance at about 2450. So what are we going to do next week? If we gap out of 2450, we gap up to about 2750, 2760, that could be breakout territory for Virgin Galactic. But until we get some news about a test flight, positive news about maybe another rescheduled flight or whatever, I think this one's going to be trading sideways a bit. I don't think it's going to be going into the teens again necessarily. I'd be shocked if Virgin Galactic did go back into, let's say, 16, 17, 18, 19, maybe 19. It does dip its toe in there, but if it gets to 15, 16, I'd be shocked. So I'd just be watching it here between $20, 22, 24. I think we might trade sideways a bit, and then we might get the gap up from there. So overall, those are the stocks I'm watching. Some thoughts there on the markets, what I personally did today. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Let's try to get 400 likes. It's Friday. These videos on Friday don't get a bunch of views as usual, but we might be able to squeeze 400 likes. So if you guys stuck till the end, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and don't forget to join the Discord chat and the Facebook group, link down below. They're free of charge, and you could also claim 4 stocks from WeBull. All you have to do is deposit $100, and you get 4 stocks valued up to $1,600, and if you choose to do so, you can literally take out that $100 deposit, put it back in your bank, and you can keep the 4 stocks, so there's no loss on your end whatsoever. So get those stocks linked down below. I appreciate you guys, as that does support the channel. Thanks for watching. As always, keep crushing the market. Stay safe out there, everybody. Peace out.